toaster oven?
Toaster.
All right, getting into some of the equipment that you need for a mobile unit, and electricity or power is a must. And with a trailer, obviously you have to have a generator. Sometimes with a van, you can actually use the van power or some sort of inverter. You can actually leave your van running, use the gas in your van. Do you actually have that in your van, or do you use an external?
I use a generator, which is a inverter as well.
Okay.
But sometimes something that I think is like with the battery of the van, it's not going to be enough to power all the equipment.
Okay, yeah. So let's get into one of the first pieces of equipment that you need is power generator. So this is an actual inverter, right?
That's right. Yep. It's a 4,500 running watts.
I'm gonna peek back here. Do you normally keep this up there?
Yeah. So I like to keep this here because when I have all my doors open and the sun beats in on my chemicals, it's not good. So you want to shade them.
Nice. Yeah.
So this acts as shade and advertising, which is great. So I love that. But yeah, we do have to think about power. You know, you can go out and buy your typical generator, which is completely fine. I ran like a 45 or 5,000 watt Predator generator and the Husky ones before, and they're great. Lots of power. This is just a little bit more efficient. An inverter actually has an alternator, has a battery in it, so you have some perks. You can do push button start, you can do remote start, and because it is an inverter, it actually is, I guess you can call it a smart generator.
Okay.
Because it will actually have an economy mode where when you're running it, it will rev down. So it will actually save you fuel in the long run. And then when you need to run your equipment, it will sense what wattage it needs and what amperage it needs, and it will rev back up to that appropriate degree of what it needs. And again, saving you, money on gas. A regular generator just runs at a constant RPM. So this is really cool. I love this thing.
This is weird to say, but 15 years ago when I was mobile detailing, I feel like an old man, back in the day.
Back in the day.
But I had a generator, and it was probably about this size. It was a gas powered generator, and the thing was obnoxiously loud. I mean, it was just so loud. You could hear me, if you're working at a house. Like, how is this? Is it pretty quiet?
Not bad at all. Here, let me start up for you.
Okay. And then I want to talk about the actual wattage and what you actually need and the different stuff that you're running off the generator.
Exactly, because that's important too. So let's just run the thing really quick. It does have push button. It also has a remote, which is really nice. Now that's not even in economy mode.
Oh, that's just in normal mode.
That's economy mode. So no load, it's not running anything. That's how quiet it can be.
That's great.
I bet you can hear it over the microphones. It's pretty decent. And then when you want to run something, even from economy mode, say for instance, vacuum.
Okay.
The vacuum is louder than the generator.
Yeah, it is. I can't wait to get into all this setup. So this is actually on a pull-out.
Correct.
And this is Tony's expertise here. He is the custom builder of everything that you have in your van here. And we're gonna get into more of what Tony does in a little bit, but this custom pull-out, obviously you have to pull it out because you don't want the fumes inside the trailer if you gotta go in there and jump in.
Exactly.
Safety.
Ports out here.
And then you actually have power outlets and everything on remotes, which is very, very convenient. And I think when you're setting up a mobile unit like this, you got to think efficiency. Yeah,
that's true.
Because you're going out to somebody's home or somebody's business, and you want to be as quick as possible. When you're in a shop, everything has a spot, and it doesn't really move. But you got to think of. You thought of everything here, like these bottle holders.
Yep.
That are just
great.
They're not going to move when you're driving and you're bouncing up and down.
Exactly. These are great. These are called Bulldog clips. You can buy those on Amazon. I've had these for years. I remember seeing guys with mobile setups have these, and they're very, very strong.
Those are awesome.
And you can put them virtually anywhere, and they hold those bottles.
Okay, so a generator, you need power. This is the iGen 4500 from Westinghouse. I'm looking on the side here, I'm just reading it. 3,700 running watts and 4,500 peak watts. Let's talk about some of the equipment that you run off of this.
Yeah.
So you have an air compressor.
Yep. So that one takes a lot of amperage to start and wattage too. That's why you have the peak wattage, because when it first starts up, it needs that juice to really start it.
Do you know the amperage on this particular?
Yeah, so these two plugs here, we actually have this plug, which is a 30 amp plug. So that's the special plug here. So Tony had to custom build, find all these components and custom build it. But it's a 120 volt, 30 amp plug. But with the 30 amp plug, you can split it into two 110. Actually, these are, if that's from that plug, these should be 30 amp, right?
Yeah, that's 30 amp.
Okay, so these are actually 30 amp. So you can plug heavy duty stuff into here.
Okay.
Into both of these receptacles and run it. And then we have the regular 120 20 amp plug here, which you can run, again, other things. So 20 and 30 amp, pretty heavy duty amperage coming from this thing.
And what is a typical, like you got your vacuum here, what is the amperage pull on that?
I don't know the amperage pull on this, but it should be 15, it should be below 15 actually. Probably around 13, 12 maybe.
Okay.
Because you can run that from any household 15 amp plug, that's no problem. So it'll run that.
And if you need to find out what the amperage and voltage are, they usually have these tags on the side of the machine.
Yep.
I know the vacuum does, and it'll kind of tell you what the amperage and what you're looking for there. So
exactly, yeah. The ones that definitely do pull a lot are going to be your steamers, and like our steamer, the VX5000. That one you can run from a 15 amp plug, but when you're running everything together, the wattage makes a big difference too.
So can you run the air, the vacuum, the steamer, and the blower all at the same time? Have you tested it?
I can run 3 of those things at any given time, but not all 4 of them. Okay. It has a limit where it'll short out, or not short out, but it'll stop.
It'll just
working.
break, like a throw breaker.
Exactly, exactly, and then you need to reset it. So, but then again, you usually don't have that many things running at the same time. You kill one of those things, like the vacuum or the air compressor, and you work on your steamer or something else. So you can switch back and forth. But if you want to run everything, I have found 5,000 running watts is what you would need to run all of that stuff together without bogging down your machine.
Yeah.
Because I used to have a 5,000 watt and it ran everything seamlessly.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about the next piece of equipment, which is the pressure washer. So you're not running an electric pressure washer. So
correct.
So think of that when you're getting a generator. Are you going to run an electric pressure washer, or are you going to run a gas pressure washer? Now you have a gas one.
Yep, this is an old one too.
Okay.
This is one of the original engines that I had. The second one is probably about 8 years old. And I forget the cc's on it, or the horsepower, whatever, but it was an old Home Light pressure washer that I bought at Home Depot about 8 years ago. The pump since died. So, found out that it's a basic 4-bolt, 3/4 inch shaft, which is very common. And I have an AR pump on here that I got locally from a company. So I was able to basically take off the old pump, put the new one on, and with the new one, I wanted a recirculating system. So when this thing is running, it will pump water back into the tank, keeping the pump cool. It'll continue to circulate when you're not using it, which is great. So this has been an awesome setup for many, many years, but I think it's time for an upgrade. So we're gonna do something else here.
So next you need water. So let's talk about using, I know there's a lot of guys that start out and ask me the question, well, should I be using my own water or can I use the customer's water? And same with electricity. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the pros and cons with that. I mean, obviously, starting out, I always tell everybody, just if you start out with what you got, do what you can to get started. And that's the hardest part of starting a business, is just doing it. And sometimes you don't have all the luxuries of being able to have a trailer and your own power and your own water. Just get it started. And there's a lot of understanding people out there that'll just, that's fine. But ideally, you want to bring your own power. You want to bring your own water. It's a little more professional.
Yeah. Tony and I have talked about that a lot. We do have a video where we talk about comparisons between the trailer and the van, and also talk about bringing your own water and power. And that is kind of a hot topic. But really, it comes down to your demographic, where you are. In this area, I found out that I needed my own water and power.
Okay.
Because we were going to people's places of work.
Yes.
That was like 80% of our jobs. People are at work, they don't want to stay home, they don't want to have to worry about you going to their home and using water and power and all that stuff. So for us, it was a must.
Yeah.
We had to do it. In other areas, it may not be, depending on your neighborhoods and all of that. So that's something that each detailer kind of has to decide for themselves, do the research and decide for themselves. What do they need to do? What do they need?
So when I started mobile detailing, I got two 55-gallon drums from a local car wash, and I just strapped them to both sides of the wall. Actually, I had two of them because I worked in some building complexes that I actually had to take my old water with. So I had one tank of 55 gallons that I put my clean water in, and then I had a water containment mat, and I had a pump that would pump in all the dirty water into that second 55-gallon tank. When I was doing it, 55 gallons was enough to, clean about 10 cars. And I didn't actually have a pressure washer. I used another pump, and I had a garden hose. So I was garden hosing everything. What gallon tank do you have here?
So this is a 65-gallon tank.
Okay.
Original. It's like 12-year-old tank. But I only put about 50 gallons in it. I also have a really cool setup where I can fill it from the outside on a little spigot, and it has a float valve. So when it gets up to 50, or actually no, about 60 gallons, I guess, it stops. So it's one of those little float valves that say farmers use for water troughs, and it's cheap. And I just plumbed it in there, and it works really well so that I have no more overflow problems. Because I used to like overflow it and it would get all wet in here.
I can't tell you how many times I did that where you just, because it takes like 10 or 15 minutes to fill up.
Yeah,
I used to fill it up my house. And I let an hour go by, and it's like, I go outside
and it's just
whoop.
pouring and pouring. Yeah, so that stops that, which is awesome. But I've found, for us, we don't do fleet washing, we don't do multiple car washing or anything like that. So 60 gallons is plenty. We do usually, on an average, 2 full details a day. And 60 gallons is way more than enough. This is actually very efficient too, and we're efficient with our technique, so that maybe 15 gallons per vehicle on average, maybe 20 if it's a really dirty truck. But
also, you got to think about weight too, because this is going to be the heaviest. That's going to add the most weight to the
Exactly.
unit, so.
Exactly. So with a trailer like this, like Tony said, this thing can handle like 3,500 pounds, which the trailer itself is under 1,000 empty, very light. So that's awesome. It's mostly aluminum. So this is the heaviest thing in here, really. And the rest of it, maybe that's the second. The rest of it is really not that heavy. I maybe only have maybe a ton in here of equipment. So it's towing a ton, which again is pretty light in the trailer world.
All right, generator, pressure washer, water tank, all very important things. And all the little accessories that you have too, like the reels, and the way that you have it connected, and that's what really kind of helps with efficiency. I'm looking at, you got a reel for your hose here just to keep everything organized, because that was one of the big challenges when I was mobile detailing, is at the end of the day, you're tired, and you just end up throwing everything in the van. You're like, I just want to get out of here. And you just throw shit everywhere, and it becomes a real mess real quickly. And then you don't realize it till the next day when you're at another job. You're like, oh, I got to spend a half hour trying to clean all this crap up before I actually get started.
This idea I got from Tony, because I didn't even know that they had vacuum hose reels.
Yeah, that's
so
great.
You can get one from Cox Reel, which is really nice. They're more like high end.
Yeah.
But this one is from a company called Rockler. And you can get these on Amazon as well. And it was more affordable and still pretty heavy duty, very heavy duty. But this is 50 feet of vacuum hose. So when you don't have to pull your vacuum out at all. Everything stays stationary. All you need to do is pull the vacuum hose out. You got 50 feet, which is more than enough to go around the vehicle.
Yeah.
And then when you're done, you just reel it all the way in, and it just keeps everything organized and clean.
Okay.
Which is awesome. I love that.
So what's that in the back? Do you have a coffee machine in here?
Oh yeah, man.
Necessity.
For those cold winter days, you need some coffee or tea. Here, come on this side.
All right, we're gonna go into the main part of the van.
It's a
Oh, look,
mess.
you got a toaster oven.
Toaster.
He's got a coffee maker. Where's the kitchen sink?
I know, right? I need to put it right here. I have thought about it.
This is awesome. Everything has a spot. Everything is organized. You got bottle holders. You even got a fan up here, which is super nice.
This is important for hot climates. Yeah, very, very nice to have this. And this exhausts, when you have everything closed up, there's not a lot of airflow in here. And if you have chemicals and maybe your gas tank, it's a lot of fumes.
Yeah.
So I have this thing on outtake and it blows all those fumes and keeps things circulating in here nicely.
This is sweet.
Yeah, wired up everything here. So when I'm running the generator, I can power things up here if I need to, and I just switch out some plugs here to hook up to the generator.
All right, we're gonna check out Tony's van, and I think we're gonna make this into a two-part video because this is such good information. And then the second part is gonna be actually building out the G-Technic van from start to finish. So, Tony, let's take a look at your van. This is compact. You got everything in here.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with a much smaller footprint than a trailer. So.
Correct. So, like I said, this one here, I built this from scratch, and something that I wanna say before anything, this is built from a lot of stuff that was gonna end up in the trash.
Yeah.
Technically, like I used to do electrical work.
Okay.
And like whenever they was ready to dump stuff in the downstairs, I say, "Where are you guys going with that stuff? That's good stuff." So, and then I always was thinking, about where to use the stuff, So, and that's how I came out, with the design of this.
So when did
setup.
you build this unit here? How long ago?
This one has been for close to 4 years.
Okay.
Which this setup, it was in another Ford Transit passenger van. It was a 15 passenger van. And then when I find out that it was not a good idea to have a family van / mobile detail unit, because I spilled some gas inside and stuff like that, so the smells and things like that. So I decided to sell that van and just buy this little one.
Okay.
And move everything to this one here.
Nice.
So, yeah, like I say,
So you got a lot of the same equipment and everything. You have the water. Water
tank.
So you have a lot of the same things. You have the water tank. You have a lot of the hose reels and everything in here. This is cool. You got an electrical extension cord that reels up.
correct.
And then you got some additional stuff, which is really cool. Is like all this.
The drawer system.
Yeah. So you started building this, and now are you building this for other guys? I mean, is this something that you're going more into?
Somehow this came out, to now I am kind of full-time mobile detailing and as well building setups and helping other detailers. That's what I'm doing now.
So you can help other detailers build setups and do these custom units.
Correct.
Do you usually go out to them, or is it easier if they come to you? Or?
So far, whenever somebody wants to build their setup, and they are maybe in a different state, they normally want me to go over there.
Yeah.
But the problem is the tools. I have to carry all my tools. I got people calling me from LA, Texas, stuff like that.
Okay.
But what I'm doing is I give them support and I send them, simple ways, like small videos, pictures, and all the links for all the materials that they're gonna be using technically. Yeah. So, they pay me some, for that information.
Well, you should get paid. This is valuable stuff. Yeah.
So that's how I'm working with them, and if anybody is close to me, I build the entire setup for them.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's
the
awesome.
way I'm doing.
So all the structure here that you see, like the unistrut and everything back there, and the diamond plate and everything, that is custom built for this van. Yeah. That's awesome. You got your steamer there. You got a little carpet extractor, all the cords. You even got an ozone machine, the pressure washer there. Everything's hooked up into the electrical. Where's the generator?
The generator is on this side. I can show you this way. So I have a Honda EU 3000 ES, I think is the name. And this is it's pretty good. I can handle the majority of my tools with this one, like the vacuum, air compressor, and the steamer.
You are utilizing every square inch of this van. This is awesome.
Yeah.
So even here, so this big box here, what's actually under this? So you got this.
On this one here, I have my tools, like heat gun, brushes, attachments, all that kind of stuff, that you pretty much need, on a mobile, job.
Okay.
And as well over here, I got my gallon size stuff, that I use. Power strip for charge all my, batteries and stuff like that. That's the air compressor right there. And my vacuum is on the other side.
Look at that, you got pads up on the roof.
Yeah, that's the pads right there.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
I got some chemicals right here that I normally use. And on the other side, I have some more drawers as well.
Okay. I want to go to the other side.
Let's go. And this side, let me put this in the floor.
Is this a table here that you have?
Yeah, this is my table. And this is my bucket method, which is something that I'm working on. And it will be out in the market soon. So that's something that I kind of create, and I'm planning on do something different like that.
So that your 2 wash buckets can go in there. And
yeah, you can put 2. I use small ones because like what I normally do, I put all my washments in here.
Okay.
I use the foam cannon to throw all the soap in the car, and then I just use them. Like on the other side, I have this divider over here, which has, you know, two jobs. Something to not cross-contaminate, you know, the stuff, you know, from the wheel bucket.
Yeah.
And this side for all the washments. While I'm going, you know, I start normally with the wheels.
Yeah.
While I'm going around the vehicle, I normally use these ones.
Okay.
So while I'm going, this is my help, you know.
Yeah.
And then I just pull my hose, and then it's gonna work, and then keep working, you know. I use 2 foam cannons, one for the wheels, and the other one is back there for the paint, you know.
That's killer, man.
Yeah. So over here is
Tony,
where
you're like the MacGyver of like auto detailing.
Oh. But I don't got the knife.
I need a toothpick, a bottle cap, and
So over here is where I got my 2 SPTA polishers, the little one, and I got some tape, stuff like that, you know, for all those areas. This is my little table, DeWalt table. I got my ladder over here, and same thing, you know, like I can pretty much start my generator from here, and I have everything on the remote control with.
Now, what size is your generator? It looks a little smaller, 3,000?
This is a smaller, this is a 3,000.
Okay.
3,000, yeah.
So you can get away with the 3,000 if you needed to.
Correct. If you know how to use it, pretty much, or how to split everything. As you can see, I built this core over here, which is for the 30 plug. I have this one for the air compressor, the vacuum, and as well for my little retractable core reel, you know, which is the one I use for my for the carpet extractor. The carpet extractor. Yeah. So the other one is dedicated for my pressure washer.
It's killer, man. I love it. Thanks for showing me around.
Yeah.
All right. That's part 1. We're showing you some of the equipment. Stick around for part 2. We're going to talk more about the pros and cons of some of mobile detailing, give you some tips and tricks and techniques, and we're actually going to be putting the G-Technic van together and putting in a lot of the equipment and holders and organization tools into the van. Thanks for watching.